The sexual misconduct advocacy group Time's Up found itself in the middle of yet another sexual harassment cover-up. Recent reports allege that the company's CEO, Tchen, instructed the organization to stand down on publicly supporting Andrew Cuomo's accuser, Lindsey Boylan, after two people connected to Time's Up spoke with the former governor's longtime advisor. That was just the tip of the iceberg. An investigation earlier this month by New York Attorney General Letitia James found that then chairwoman of Time's Up, Roberta Kaplan, also spoke with the governor's staff about a response to Boylan's allegations, which investigators described as part of a, quote, unlawful retaliation effort. Kaplan resigned shortly after the reports surfaced. During a recent taping of the Katie Halper show, Jack Allison pointed to the PR firm that represents the Time's Up Foundation for their role in the cover-up. Let's watch.
We're now seeing basically every Democrat who's the last two major Democrat sex scandals have an element of, oh yeah, and also Time's Up tried to kill the story, which, right. That's a little bit fucking weird.
Joining us now is host of the Katie Halper Show and co-host of the Useful Idiots podcast. Katie, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, so let's talk about them kind of trying to bury these stories. I mean, are they just acting as a Democrat operative group now that's just going after Republicans who do bad things, or what do you think is going on?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's really embarrassing allegations here. No, more than allegations. I mean, we now know the facts, and the truth is that Time's Up was basically running interference for powerful Democratic men. It's great that they wanted to, in theory, use their power to help advocate for women with less power. I think that was kind of their shtick. Like, we're rich and famous. We're going to try to use that to protect or help uplift women who aren't rich and famous. But I don't think that works, because if you want to take on the powerful, that means you have to wield your power against people who are powerful, even if you go to dinner parties with them, even if you're going to vote for them. And that's clearly something that they were not willing to do. And so they violated their principles. They sold out women. They sold out Me Too. And they basically did what they could to kill stories that would be politically damaging to the powerful men that they liked. And it's a real stain on them and on Me Too, by the way. It can't be overstated. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like Time's Up's credibility is just completely shot now. At this point, do you think there's any coming back for them?
I mean, I don't think so. I was actually just reviewing some of their kind of worst statements, which is we got the one person who even remotely nailed the statement, I think, is Tarana Burke. She said that to do this work, your integrity has to be beyond reproach. Time's Up is young and the problem is old. So she at least acknowledged that there was a problem. But the other people, I mean, Shonda Rhimes, who I guess is part of Time's Up, said the fact that Time's Up has become viewed as a receptacle for and the focus of men trying to cover up their obscene behaviors is exhausting to me. I mean, that's exhausting to you. Imagine how exhausting it is to come forward with an allegation or story of sexual harassment or sexual assault and be lied to, blackballed, or betrayed by Time's Up. I mean, have some humility. Mm-hmm. This speaks to the kind of incredible entitlement that these people have. They are so sheltered that Shonda Rhimes doesn't even know that she's supposed to pretend that she's not the victim in this story, that her exhaustion is not the thing that we're talking about or that we care about. And then you have Tchen and Hillary Rosen, who basically are lying about their role. Roberta Kaplan as well. She had, again, the PR wherewithal, Kaplan, to resign, although her letter of resignation made Andrew Cuomo look remorseful. I mean, that's how much of a non-apology it was. And then you have Tchen, who we now know from a Washington Post investigation, she had texted about Boylan. And remember, they said both she and Hillary Rosen said to stand down and not have, people respond to Lindsey Boylan's allegations. She said that the story, we now know from text, that Boylan's story was all over the place, okay? Now, she's trying to cover and pretend that when she said all over the place, she meant media saturated, all over the media, all over the news, not that she didn't mean it in the pejorative sense of like inconsistent or unbelievable or incoherent. The problem is when she texted this, the media presence around the story was, I think, basically Lindsey Boylan's own Medium piece. So not exactly all over the place. And then you have Hillary Rosen, who, when she advised people not to comment on the Boylan story, she's now pretending that it was because she didn't want it politicized. She says, as a survivor, because Fox News was asking for a statement. Sorry, it's inconvenient for you. Sometimes, like Me Too investigations are weaponized by the right. Just, you should know this because you're weaponizing them and silencing them for the left, or not even the left. I don't know, liberal aristocracy or whatever you represent. But she says, as a survivor, I've always thought that serious allegations of sexual harassment should not be politicized. And Fox News had a reputation for doing just that. So part of this text chain is only responsive to the question about Fox. Context matters. And then she says, glad that Lindsey Boylan got her justice. Okay, end quote. That's really moving, but to the extent that she got any justice, which she hasn't, it was in spite of people like you, Hillary Rosen, not because of people like you. So, anyway.
Katie, do you expect that the organization might just kind of fold up shop and move its resources into a new vehicle? Like people put more than $20 million in small dollar contributions because they believe that there ought to be a project like this. There should be somewhere for women to go if they need help, either legal help or PR help, as they are taking on a powerful man who has harassed them. That's an important function in our society, because it's very difficult to come forward without that, as people who have tried to come forward without that have found out the very hard way. So is there any talk about using the money that is left to create a new organization that doesn't have the branding issues and not staffing it with Democratic operatives?
I honestly don't know. You probably know better than I do, Ryan. I mean, I don't know if you've looked into it. I don't know. I'm just distracted. I'm still so angry about this that I have to share one more thing, which I left out, which is the treatment of Tara Reade. And by the way, Tchen, of course, said that they should hold off. Women's groups had drafted a model letter that they were going to release when Tara Reade came forward, and finally was heard. Time's Up declined representing her legally because she was going after someone running for federal office, which is, you want to take on powerful people, I guess not too powerful, right? Because apparently if you're going after someone who's running for office, they can't meddle in that, which is a BS excuse. They've tried to pretend it was some kind of tax-exempt status excuse. But so Tchen says, encourages the women's group to delay their statement. Then when Biden finally goes on MSNBC, denies Reade's allegations, that same day, Tchen goes on MSNBC and commends him for his transparency. Time's Up released a complimentary statement. And then this is like the cherry on top. That very same evening, Tchen joined a Biden fundraising event online with other Obama administration alumni. So, I think that the people who run this, I don't know if they're going to form something else, but the people who run this are part of a political elite. They're part of a media elite, Hollywood elite, and they're enmeshed with a political elite. I don't think they have any credibility. I think they should, burn it to the ground and donate it to some other organization that honestly has nothing to do with these consultants, because I don't trust any of them. They won't go after the powerful people who inconvenience them politically. And again, I get it. It's awkward. Sorry. You're going to have to change your friend group.
Right.
Or stop doing it.
There's a massive network of advocates, who work on behalf of survivors. There's no shortage. There's no shortage of talented and dedicated people who, would be equipped to do this work if they got the funding. But what you've laid out, is untenable. This is no. If a woman now goes to Time's Up, there are going to be questions about what Time's Up's motivation is in either taking the case on or not taking the case on, and that's not fair to the survivor who's coming forward.
You can only go to them if you're going after Republicans, apparently, right? Or people that maybe aren't too high up on the totem pole, and that is definitely problematic.
Yeah, good luck. It's at least there's kind of a mystery element, a suspense element. Like if you bring them your story, you don't know, are they going to defend you or are they going to defend the person you're accusing? I guess that keeps it exciting. These people are a lot of Hollywood people. Maybe they're trying to do this for the sake of the plot. It's definitely not a rom-com that they're creating. It's a nightmare, dystopian, sci-fi, just to extend that metaphor. It's a tragedy. And I think they should, donate it to some good organization that is actually grassroots. Because I think what's interesting about this too is it kind of shows that this stuff from top down doesn't work. Because when you have people who don't actually represent the interests of the powerless, it doesn't work. It just doesn't. Like, use your privilege, certainly do that. But making a PR firm that, and the thing is, like, the people who are doing this just have questionable morals, honestly, because they're all a bunch of, like, consultants, and they rub elbows with the powerful, and they're not willing to actually, when push comes to shove, renounce the privilege that they acknowledge they have, but apparently they're not willing to give up that privilege.
Very well said, Katie. And I really appreciate your take and reporting on this.
And they owe an apology to Tara Reid. They owe an apology to Lindsey Boylan and all the other women that they whose names we don't even know and we won't even know, and all the women whose cases they turned away. And the way that they honestly cheapened the Me Too movement, the Listen to Women movement, the mantra, the Believe Women mantra, this is a real reckoning. And if they have any moral fiber, which I really don't know if they do, but if they do, they will come forward with an actual apology. They're not going to do this like, oh, we're going to have some kind of internal review. Like, great. That means nothing. Just shut it down, honestly. Shut it down and give your money. Give your money to women's organizations that actually do this stuff well and aren't just friends with, like, the Obama administration alone.
Right.
I like the clapping. Well done, Katie.
I don't know if you could see that.
the clap emoji. Katie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much.
We'll have more Rising for you right after this.